FLM, wide open thinking, world-class work, and far-reaching results. Now with locations in Minneapolis, Columbus, Indianapolis, and Washington, D.C. A strategic marketing and communications company dedicated to serving clients who specialize in the business of agriculture and the life of rural communities.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Agri-Pulse Washington Week in Review. I'm Spencer Chase, joined by Agri-Pulse Senior Editor Phil Brasher. And Phil, we were talking before we started shooting this video. We weren't planning on doing this when we started a couple of weeks ago. This wasn't going to be a weekly update on waters of the United States and Trade Promotion Authority, but it's turned out that way. That's the big issues on the Hill this week. We promise we'll get to other issues when other issues get to us. I mean, it's we're not just sticking to two issues, but we will get there. But in that topic, a big event that happened on Capitol Hill this week. We've been talking for months now about 2015 being the year that the federal food fight comes to Washington. Right now we've got different states doing different patchworks that we keep hearing about as far as GMO labeling is concerned. And now we have the Energy and Commerce Committee pledging to take action on a GMO labeling bill introduced by Congressman Mike Pompeo out of Kansas.
Exactly. Fred Upton, who's the chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, which is the committee that has jurisdiction over the Food and Drug Administration, said this week, actually told a group of industry, food industry representatives that he's ready to move finally. A year after the initial version of this bill was introduced, he's ready to take action on it. It looks like it'll be this spring and summer that this bill will start to move. The other important development related to that is that Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack talked to the same group, and we're told, made, among other things, said he shared their concerns and made a commitment to offer his department's technical assistance to the development of this legislation. So very important developments. It means that Congress is, at least in the House of Representatives, the Senate's another question, but certainly in the House of Representatives is going to take up and consider this bill.
And as you mentioned, they still do need a companion bill in the Senate. But this week, a companion bill was introduced in the Senate for a Waters of the United States proposal. It originated in the House, and the House has kind of taken a two-pronged approach to the situation, where on one hand, they're introducing a bill to repeal the controversial rule. On another hand, they're working on an appropriations measure. Yesterday in the Senate, a very bipartisan, geographically diverse group of senators introduced a bill to kind of tell EPA to start over, do what they can to really listen to the public input on that Waters of the United States bill and produce a new proposal by December of 2016. But just this morning, a few hours ago in fact, we had action from the House of Representatives, the full House of Representatives, on an energy and water appropriations bill with a Waters of the United States rider.
Right. This is a provision in the bill that would prevent the Army Corps of Engineers and the Environmental Protection Agency from implementing this Waters of the U.S. rule, starting with the new fiscal year, which starts October 1st. This is probably the more likely way that this would become law, because it'll be harder theoretically for President Obama to veto an appropriations bill, because that would conceivably shut down these agencies. But again, as you say, they're going the House and now the Senate are both considering standalone bills that would that would kill the rule altogether, as well as they will be pursuing these appropriations provisions that would at least temporarily stop the administration from implementing the new rule.
Action on Trade Promotion Authority continuing this week, as well as we had Prime Minister Abe in town. And Phil, you were there, you were covering his speech. What can you tell us, just some key takeaways from Prime Minister Abe's speech?
Well, he did make a forceful case for the trade agreement, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He didn't offer any concessions in terms of the two big areas where there's differences, and that's on agriculture and on automobiles. However, and I think this was probably the most you could have expected, he did make a very strong, passionate, even case that he is committed, his government is committed to reforming their agricultural policy and removing many of the protections that they now have, which include tariffs and quotas on U.S. commodities. So that was I think what the Prime Minister was probably trying to communicate to the Congress is, if you go ahead and pursue this trade policy of the President's, we're prepared to make concessions.
And the President yesterday also working to rally some of his own party, meeting with about 30 Democrats to rally support for Trade Promotion Authority.
Right. The Republicans are going to lose some conservatives when it comes to their vote, and the final outcome is likely to be very close, and so they need support from some Democrats. And he met, as you say, with about 30, made the case that he's been making over the last couple of weeks, that this is critical in terms of our policy toward China, and making sure that we are leading and not following China in terms of economic policy and national security. And he's also making the case that you can't stop globalization by not approving trade agreements, that we need to write the rules, and that's how we'll do that through the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
And looking at floor time in both House and Senate sometime in May.
That seems likely. Both chambers are trying to the leaders in both chambers are trying to make sure that they can get the votes. They might have 60 to 65 in the Senate, and we expect the House to be much closer.
That's going to about do it for the big issues on agriculturally speaking on Capitol Hill this week. For Phil Brasher, I'm Spencer Chase. Thanks for joining us.